Staring down paths both old and new, each twist and turn.
Hey everybody, Crab and Cast coming at you. Let me try to turn this down. This is a new song by Crab and Cast Records, Heartbreak on Sandy Run. Kinda like it.
Each twist and turn brings thoughts of you. A solitary figure in a land so wide.
Of course, that is Sandy Run Road. That is the road where Stephen Smith met his demise in July 2015. And when TikTok started to go away, I kind of put a video out there. I put a video out there where I talk about Stephen Smith. I talk about the death of Gloria Satterfield. I talked about the death of Mallory Beach. I talked about the death of Paul Murdaugh. And I talked about the death of Maggie Murdaugh. All of which I think are connected somehow. So this is Crime and Cask. We're going to talk about Murdaugh, of course, but we're going to go into, and I'm going to show you, and this is new for me here, so I'm getting used to this little technology. So if there's a few glitches here and there, I apologize. Crime and Cask, we're going to talk about an interview that Nancy Grace, the illustrious Nancy Grace, did on getting, as she called him, the killer attorney, Alex Murdaugh. She calls him Murdaugh. I think that's funny. Retrial odds skyrocket. And I'm assuming that she is not a fan of getting said Mr. Murdaugh a new trial. Nancy with her eyes. Man, she can talk with her eyes. But this is not to bag on Nancy Grace. This is just kind of go through. She's got 550,000 followers on this particular video. There was 85,000 views, almost 2,500 likes, and 423 comments. And there's a lot of wrong information on there. And I just want to go through it a little bit and just kind of go through what she talked about, how it's wrong. And I'm not going to give you how it's wrong in my opinion. I'm going to go straight to the trial. I'm going to go straight to the video. And we're going to talk about it. A couple things we're going to talk about is what's wrong is with the egg lady being dismissed in Juror Z or Juror 630, which was Mandy Pierce on the Alex Murdaugh trial. We're going to talk about how she calls her the egg lady, which is wrong. We're going to go into when egg lady got dismissed, and she talks about Judge Toll and how that was wrong. We're going to listen to a guy by the name of Dr. Kendall talk about how Gloria Satterfield died as a result of her injuries, and he's going to talk about the injuries, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. We're going to dive into Alex Murdaugh's shirt, which is always a big bone of contention with everybody, and Blanca. We're going to show what she has to say. We're going to show what Alex said and how he was questioned about it. And we're going to explain the shirt to you, because the way it's been explained to you by the prosecution is this whole gotcha, aha, and it's just not the case. We're also going to talk about how she talks about Maggie being lured and how Maggie just was not lured. All right, so let's get into it. I'm going to try this here. We're going to do a little screen sharing and see if I can't figure this out. This is the Nancy Grace video where she talks about the egg lady, which is now Juror Z, as we have said, killer attorney. There it is. Let's check it out now.
This is what I think will likely be the single strongest case for Alex Murdaugh to get a new trial. And it all goes back, I never thought I'd have to say these words again, to the egg lady. Take a listen to her being questioned by the court.
Was your verdict based entirely on the testimony, evidence, and law presented to you in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you hear Ms. Becky Hill make any comment about this case before
That's
your
juror
verdict?
Juror Z.
Yes, ma'am.
That's not the egg lady.
If yes, what did Ms. Hill say?
Nancy calls her the egg lady.
To watch his actions.
To watch his actions? What else?
To watch him closely.
To watch him closely? Anything else you remember?
There it is, but I can't remember.
Okay, that's fine.
Oh, okay. She's on the stand, the so-called egg lady. And I was there when this happened. A juror was dismissed because of alleged misconduct. And before she left
It's not the egg lady,
the
Nancy.
courthouse, she said she wanted to go back in the jury deliberation room and get the dozen eggs she had brought to court
Yeah.
that day.
God
That's how
forbid.
she got that
God
name.
forbid she has a
Okay, wait a
dozen
minute.
eggs.
She's on the stand. Let me understand this, Jennifer Wood, Fitch News. She's
Oh.
on the stand to talk about everything the court clerk did wrong, Becky Hill. And the judge says, can you think of anything else? Is there anything else? She's under oath sitting there prepared for this moment. She goes, there is, but I can't remember. Did she? She
That's
did
not
that.
the egg lady.
She did.
Jennifer Wood, I love you, but you should have stopped Nancy Grace right there and said, that wasn't the egg lady. That just wasn't the egg lady. That was Juror Z at the Alec Murdaugh hearing for a new trial that was last year. Might have been the year before, in December of the year before. Regardless, it was Juror Z, which was Juror 630, which is Mandy Pierce as she has come out. That is not the egg lady. So we have got number one wrong. Let's jump ahead to, I'm going to jump ahead here, 11:27. There we go.
And we will start all over.
Talking
After
about
the
the
so-called
retrial.
egg lady juror was dismissed.
It's not the egg lady.
And remember, Jennifer Wood, isn't it true that Becky Hill was the one that brought the attention of the court to the egg lady to get her dismissed from the jury?
Yes, that's absolutely true. It involved a alleged Facebook post that she said she had seen in a local Facebook group. Nobody has ever seen that Facebook post. When she brought it to the judge's attention, she could not find it again. The post that she did ultimately.
She could not find it again because it didn't exist. You have to remember, this was February, might have even been March 1st. Let me go back and look and see of 2023 to give you the date. I believe it was either the 27th or the 28th of February. And here's what happened on that particular day. Becky Hill comes through with the Facebook page, the alleged Facebook page that she said she saw on the 24th of February. However, that Facebook post that she saw on Walterboro Word of Mouth on the 24th of February was deleted by the guy who said he wrote it, which was not her husband, but same name, who wrote it on the 14th or 15th of February. So I don't know how you see a post that has been deleted 10 days prior, but, go on.
Ultimately end up finding was from the husband of somebody, or it was from somebody with the same name as her ex-husband in a different state and totally unrelated.
Correct.
So I mean, I still have questions whether about this post. Where is it? Did it exist?
No.
I mean, it was what ultimately partially led to her dismissal.
What allegedly led to her dismissal? Well, if you go to ccnewsnetwork.com, I have a whole treasure trove of information about why said egg lady, not Juror Z, not Juror 630, not Mandy Pierce, the egg lady, which is now called Myra Crosby. Myra was Juror 785. She wrote a book called not Defending Alec Murdaugh. I wrote that. She wrote a book of hers about being removed, as the egg lady is called, because enough is enough. And so there's another thing that's wrong here with Nancy here. That's not the egg lady, it was Jersey. Let's get into, well, I say here, let's get into the cell phone. She says at 20:08. So let's jump ahead to 20:08. See what she's got to say.
His cell phone. Listen.
Part of Murdaugh's appeal of his murder conviction centers around the testimony of cell phone expert witness Paul McManigal of the Charleston County Sheriff's Office. He testified about using his darkened office as a lab and tossing an iPhone around the room to see if the backlight would come on.
Right.
He kept no records, took no measurements, then testified as an expert about what it would take to make the backlight come on.
Right.
The importance is the state says Alec Murdaugh, based on his suburban GPS data, drove by the area Maggie's iPhone was located at 9:08 p.m., saying Murdaugh tossed the phone out of his vehicle as he drove down the road.
No, he didn't.
But Maggie's iPhone indicated her backlight did not come on again after 9:07 p.m.
Correct.
The argument is that if Murdaugh passed the location at 9:08 p.m. and tossed out the phone, the backlight would have come on. But Maggie's iPhone didn't light up again after 9:07 p.m.
Nope.
Jennifer Wood, that's a lot of speculation on the defense part, but if they can get one juror to believe that...
That's a lot of speculation on the prosecution, my friend Nancy. I mean, you want to go after the defense, go after the prosecution. Oh, Lord, because her phone did everything that they said it did until they get to this point, and then they just start making stuff up where they start speculating. But go on.
Maggie's cell phone light, the lamp, would have come on when Murdaugh threw it out the window. And by the way,
It would have.
Murdaugh's navigation equipment on his Suburban shows where he let the window down on the passenger side to throw the phone out, by the way.
No, that's wrong. His GPS does not show anything. 0. 0 plus 0 equals 0. His GPS does not say anything. Nothing about any window going down. Okay? Go on.
As he was dashing to his mother's house to create an alibi.
She was dashing to his mother's house to create an alibi. Okay, let's break that down. That one little sentence, as he was look at her eyes, as he's dashing to his mother's house to create an alibi. Of course, we know Crime and Cask. I have done all the investigations on this. I have done all the experiments. I've been out to Moselle. I have driven from Moselle to Alameda. And I went the speeds that they said that Alec's vehicle did based off of the GPS data. At the time that he would have been driving by Maggie's phone, he was going 42 miles an hour. That doesn't sound like he's speeding anywhere. He then increases, once he sends the text, he then increases his speed, as Alec Murdaugh says, then he starts going really fast, right? Yeah, he goes really fast. He goes from 42 miles an hour to 44 miles an hour. Ladies and gentlemen, you are entitled to your own opinion. You are not entitled to your own facts. And those are the facts. Those are not my facts. Those are the facts that came from Alex's GMC. That came directly from the data. I'm sorry, Nancy, you're wrong.
They would have to convince a jury that the phone absolutely would have turned on as it was thrown out in that soft grass. So tell...
No. Okay, so let's go through this again, and I want to show you. I want to show you the orientation change timeline, and we're going to switch over to. We are going to switch over to. Here I am back. 90614, and here is my website, and we're going to go through this here, because this is an interesting look at Maggie's phone. And this is not my data again. This is the data from her Apple iPhone that came from the prosecution's download. Okay? So, from 8:53 to 8:15, you can see that right there. to 8:53:15 to 8:55:32. Maggie's phone recorded approximately 59 steps. And I say approximately, but it said 59 steps. And SLED agent Britt Dove testified that this activity suggests someone was manipulating the phone. That means somebody had Maggie's phone in her hand. Okay. This also means that her phone is down at the kennels and the person was taking about 0.43 steps per second, which is very slow. If this was Alex, it's probably the second slowest he's did all day. Now, here's where it gets interesting. This is where Nancy just completely forgets about this. This is where the prosecution completely forgets about this, because this makes Alec look not guilty. Okay, so let's get into this. At 8:53:44, Maggie's phone display turned on, and there was an orientation change from landscape to portrait. Landscape, as it was, let's say, laying down on the ground, to being picked up by somebody to go in the portrait. Interesting enough, right? And then the orientation changed back from landscape to portrait. Excuse me, an orientation change to landscape then was recorded, and then back to portrait. Okay, and then at this time, at 8:54:34, the phone's camera was activated for 1 second, and he testified that someone was likely trying to unlock the phone using facial recognition. We all know that Alec Murdaugh had the, or as Nancy would say, Murdaugh, had the passcode to her phone. So this is a perfect time for him to use it. Did he? No, he didn't. Okay. So, and the phone indicated that there was no one. The camera didn't take a picture. Here we go at 8:55:32. The orientation change to portrait ended, and the phone appeared to be in somebody's hand. This is from a SLED agent that works for the state of South Carolina who testified at the Alec Murdaugh trial. At 8:55:32, it's in someone's hand. Okay, now at 9 o'clock, let's see, let's go to 9:04:23. Alex calls. There's an unanswered phone, the Maggie's phone. It was logged. At 9:06:12, there is an orientation change from landscape to portrait that was recorded. Now, here's what's important. GPS places Alex outside the main house, and he is walking. He is walking. His phone is recording steps. According to the state of South Carolina and and SLED, his phone is recording steps. Maggie's phone is recording movements. And remember, back at 8:53:15 to 8:55:32, her phone was recording steps and her phone was recording movements. So we know her phone recorded steps just minutes prior. But at the time, the state is trying to say that Alec is sitting there with Maggie's phone while he's trying to call her. He's walking. He's up at the main house, and her phone is making movements. Yet her phone is not moving with him. And at this time, he is walking to his Suburban to get into his Suburban. Because at 9:06:14, another unanswered call from Alec, and it goes documented. And then at 9:06:20, 6 seconds later, Maggie's phone makes an orientation change to sideways, because you're looking at it this way, and now it's like, get rid of the phone, and you throw it out. And her phone gets thrown out at 9:06:20, and it lands there, and the backlight goes off at 9:07 exactly. But here's the problem, prosecution. At 9:07, Alec is still at the house. Therein lies the problem. How can Alec have her phone and be walking and calling her, and her phone is not recording steps, yet it's recording movements? And if Alec has her phone and he's manipulating her phone and not recording steps, that means someone else has her phone. Someone else has her phone, and her phone is not recording steps. And I checked with Apple. There's two reasons why a phone doesn't record steps. Number one, and you can give me all the explanations you want. If your phone does this and your phone does that, I don't care what your phone does. I'm telling you what Apple said. And Apple said there's two reasons. One, you're not walking. Two, you're in a moving object or a vehicle. And as Alec had testified, he had thought when he called her the first time, he thought that, oh, they're coming up. So he hung up. And then he thought, well, that's not them. So he called again. And when he called again, that's when the phone was tossed at 9:06:20, because he called at 9:06:14 and the phone was tossed. He's still at Moselle. So wrong again. Let's go back. Let's stop sharing that and let's go back to the killer attorney, Alex Murdaugh. Okay, let's jump forward to, let's see, that was the cell phone. Let's jump forward to Dr. Kendall at 2333 and see what he's got to say about Gloria Satterfield and what Crime and Cask or CC News Network has reported on that.
Absolutely right. He stole the bunny.
He stole the bunny.
Joining me is Dr. Kendall Crowns, Chief Medical Examiner, Tarrant County, that's Fort Worth, esteemed lecturer at the Burnett School of Medicine at TCU. Dr. Kendall Crowns, thank you for being with us. Explain to me what happened to Gloria Satterfield. There have been so many theories. She was pushed down the stairs. She tripped over dogs. There was a delay in reporting it. No assistance was made. But you hear son Paul, now dead, and wife Maggie, now dead, on the phone with 911. So what were the injuries? Why did she have to die from a slip and fall? Or some have called it a fake and fall. What happened?
I've never heard it called a fake and fall, FYI.
So what she had was injuries to her head. She had a laceration of her right side of her head. She had a right-sided subdural hemorrhage, which is a hemorrhage on the brain.
By the way, Paul Murdaugh was right-handed.
As well as injuries to the brain itself. And then she had left-sided rib fractures. So there's some comment that she fell or she tripped over a dog or she fell downstairs. The problem with these injuries is a right-sided laceration with a right-sided subdural is often from a blow to the head, and it's not from a fall. Usually what you're seeing is a right-sided laceration with a opposite side subdural. So it's not consistent. And then with the left-sided rib fractures, I mean, if she fell downstairs, there'd be multiple injuries about the skin and body that would show that she was tumbling downstairs, resulting in all these injuries. So the injuries are inconsistent with the story that's provided.
Wow. When you put it like that, it makes the fall seem very, very nefarious.
Very, very nefarious. Okay, let's talk about the nefarious fall. The alleged fall. Alec did originally say that it was dogs. However, if it was dogs, Paul and Maggie were still in bed, and they had multiple dogs, and those dogs had a kennel, which was hundreds of feet away. No one in that family just let those dogs run. Those are hunting dogs. There's no fence on that property. To keep them in, those dogs would have been running anywhere. Okay, Alex said that he lied in the whole Nautilus thing with the insurance. He said he lied. He's a liar. He stole the money. Got it. Nefarious. However, when I interviewed back in August, Patrick Wilson, back in August, he had told me, and if you recall, he had said that Paul had pushed Maggie. You guys remember that? Let me just refresh your memory if I can. And let's go to my videos and we can refresh your memory on what actually he had said. Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to be able to do this. Okay, so I'm not going to be able to do this. Let's just say you want to go to the YouTube channel, you can go to my website, crimeandcast.com or ccnews.com, and you can see the 4-part interview with Patrick Wilson. He is allegedly a person of interest in the death of Stephen Smith. However, he had said during that interview that Paul pushed Gloria. I said, what do you mean? He said he got mad at her and he pushed her. Now, did he push her? Did he hit her on the right side of the head? This is all speculation at this point. However, that's what Patrick Wilson said that he heard from Paul Murdaugh's lips on several occasions. Now, go to the Connor Cook deposition where he was being sued, or he was suing the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources. And he had said the same thing in his deposition, something to the effect of Paul getting away with certain things. One of them was something about, I forget how he referred to her, not the housekeeper, but something of that sort. He didn't mention Gloria by name, but we all knew it was Gloria. So, yes, nefarious, yes.
Doesn't it, Doctor? Guys,
Yes,
joining me in
it does.
addition to medical examiner, not just medical examiner, chief medical examiner, Dr. Kendall Crowns, is a very special guest joining us, Blanca Simpson.
Blanca Simpson. Oh, Blanca. By the way, Blanca, I would love to interview you. If you want to get a hold of me, go to crimeandcask.com and let's talk. I'm not here to be your enemy. I'm here to straighten some things out. And the softballs that Nancy was giving you is just too easy. We're going to talk about the shirt here, and we're going to talk about the blue shirt, the Vinnie Vines shirt. And, Alex is trying to tell me that he wore this particular shirt. And I said, no, you wore this particular shirt. We're going to go through those right now. And we're going to talk about the blue shirt. Let's go to, nice picture of you, Nancy. Let's go to Blanca Simpson, 3642. Here we go.
Asked the concept that I was never going to see them again. And, I was never
Blanca,
gonna.
when you're talking about her pajamas being laid out neatly in a doorway,
That was odd.
they also had with them underwear. Were they laid out? What were they, on the floor, or were they on a hanger? Where were they?
They were on the floor. They were on
When you
the
say
floor.
laid out neatly, what do you mean?
She means laid out neatly.
Laid out flat, neatly. One on you. It was like the pants were spread out, laid out. Then you had the underwear.
How many times she
and
going to have to
then,
say laid out?
her pajama top stretched out on top.
Stretched
neatly.
out, laid out neatly.
They weren't folded.
Maggie would
They
never
were
have
They
done
weren't
that. Plus,
folded.
she
They
didn't
were-
wear underwear to bed,
They were laid
right?
out. Who knows that?
That is correct.
I'm sorry.
She didn't do that.
How do you know that?
I stand by that.
How do you know
She
that?
did not
Somebody
do that.
How do you know
laid
that?
those
Not her.
out.
Ask that question. How do you know that?
Several weeks later, Alex Murdaugh called you.
Here we go. Blue shirt.
Well, actually got together with you, and he was very agitated, pacing back and forth, asking you about what you remembered regarding the night Maggie and Paul were murdered. What did he ask you?
He was pacing back and forth in the living room, and he kept going back and forth. He's like, "Sit down, B, sit down. I got to tell you something. Something's not right." And he said, I got a bad feeling. And at that point, he motioned and he touched his stomach. He said, I got a bad feeling. And then he says, you remember what I was wearing that day, the Vinnie Vines. And like I said, I was kind of like, no, that's not what. And I understand
It's not what?
that people have said, well, Vinnie Vines also makes, the fit. I should have described it better on the stand when I said, no, you weren't wearing a Vinnie Vines. Vinnie Vines also makes the fishing style
What was
shirt.
Well, describe it better, or just told what actually happened. I don't know what you want to call that, but let's go for it. Go on.
Wearing.
He was wearing a seafoamy green polo shirt when he left that house.
Wow, you've got a
it was
good memory.
She sure
So,
does.
Jennifer Wood joining me, Director of Research Fits.
I wonder if she knows what he wore the next day, or the day before that, or the day before that. I mean, okay, this is August 11th when this happened. What happened? Let's just stop sharing the screen here. What happened when he was nervous? Alec was nervous on August 11th when he met with Blanca. Why was he nervous? And If it's August 11th, that is almost, let's see, June, July, August. That's 2 months later after the murders. 2 months after the murders. And she can remember what he wore that day. My question is, what did he wear the day before? What did he wear the day before? What did he wear the day before? No one's ever asked her that question. That's what I want to ask her. So let's find out why Alec was so nervous, shall we? Let's find out. Let's see. I think this is it right here. Oops. No. Hold on. See, this is the part I was telling you. Give me a break on here. What do we got here? Alex Murdaugh drops. Here it is. Got it. Let's play.
In that meeting on August the 11th.
And what clothes were you wearing?
The same ones you see in...
And do you remember what kind of pants?
It was khaki pants.
And what kind of shirt?
It's a button-down, short-sleeve button-down. I call it a dress shirt.
Now, he's doing this not from memory. He's doing this from the picture. Blanca is doing it from memory.
But short-sleeve button-down dress shirt.
Like shirt you got there, but just short
Just
sleeve.
like this, but short-sleeve, and it was colored.
And it was, what color was it?
Blue.
Blue.
Blue with some blue stripes.
Blue with some blue stripes.
Question about
Same picture I saw.
When you changed out of those clothes?
I was.
And
come on, Jim Griffin.
Did you have a follow-up? Did you have a conversation after that meeting with SLED with Blanca about what you were wearing?
Here we go.
Absolutely.
And what was the purpose of the conversation with Blanca?
Oh my God! Sorry, this is what we get when we're on YouTube.
Well, they made an issue about that in that meeting, and I asked Blanca about those clothes that I had on earlier that day.
Yes, I asked Blanca about the clothes because he just got out of an interview with David Owen, SLED agent, who actually just accused him of murdering his son and his wife.
Did you ask her specifically about the blue shirt?
I asked her specifically about all the clothes.
Okay.
What I asked Blanca about specifically was,
tell us,
did she remember getting my clothes after she came back? When she came back to Moselle, did she remember getting my clothes? Is specifically what I asked her.
I see.
Okay, so let's find out. Let's end this one. And let's find out exactly what happened in that interview on August 11th that made him freak out, shall we? All right, this is interview by SLED. Let's go for that. Thank you for doing this. Here we go. Oops, hold on.
There is a video on Paul's phone of
yes.
seeing him on the farm that night, and you were in khaki pants and a dress shirt. You were playing with a tree.
I don't remember playing with a tree.
Yeah, I guess there was a tree sapling or something that had fallen over or bending over, and you were trying to get it to stand up. But I mean, the question in that is, when I met you that night, you were in shorts and a t-shirt. At what point in that evening did you change clothes?
Do tell.
I'm not sure. It would have been
before dinner or after dinner?
No, it would have been
before.
What time of day was that? I would have thought I'd already changed.
There's not a time.
Is he asking you now what time that picture was?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Go ahead.
I was staff on it because there's so many posts, but I want to say it looks to be about dusk. So that would have been 7:30, 8 o'clock.
I guess I changed when I got back to the house.
It wasn't dusk. It was, sun was up.
When we spoke, and you talked about waking up from your nap.
You know what? We're just going to prove David Owen wrong. Let's just go to this right now. I'm going to pull up this Snapchat picture of Alex Murdaugh. And see if I can figure this out for you. And we're going to prove David Owen wrong as well. Like just any nonsense. There you go. There's a blue shirt. The sun is out. It's cloudy out. That does not look like dusk to me whatsoever. So there you go. David Owen is wrong as well. Okay, so you just have to go by the facts, people. That's all we need to do, is go by the facts. Let me see. We're going to jump around here a little bit to talk about the shooters and David Owen talking about two shooters. Yeah, he did. Crazy enough. 117.55. All right, let's go to David Owen. Get rid of that. Okay, I'm back. I need a producer. All right. David Owen, where are you? Come on. Let's get rid of that. That's not it. There it is. Okay. Back to it. Let's share it. Two shooters. Here we come.
You don't know how soon afterwards she was shot.
And it all depends on how many shooters were there.
Oh! There were two.
I mean, if we're looking at two shooters, it could have happened at the same time.
No, it didn't.
If we're looking at one shooter, it would have happened.
What's this? What happened? What does that mean? What does that mean?
I know you can't help but think about it, but don't beat yourself up over getting that answer. It's not going to do anything to you.
Don't beat yourself up on trying to figure out who killed your son and your wife. Don't beat yourself up about it. Are you kidding me?
When I asked you, now that you talked to me, are you willing to, if some of my family, Maggie's mom and dad or sister, are you willing to talk to them?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I'll meet them where they want to.
It would be easy if you could meet them closer to them.
Yeah. No, I mean, I live in Charleston, so it's nothing for me to shoot up to Somerville and meet with the Brandsetters.
Oh, man. Poor guy. Everybody wanted him. Everybody wanted him guilty, including Nancy Grace. Let's see what else Nancy Grace has got to say, and then we'll kind of finish this up a little bit. As you can see, a lot of mistakes being made all over the place. I'm using the real evidence and not what everybody else is just saying.
News, that's critical. Because in these video that the video we're showing right now, when the cops get there, he is wearing a Vinny Vines t-shirt that he was trying to convince Blanca to say he was wearing when She talked.
That is not a Vinnie Vines t-shirt, Nancy Grace. There's another mistake for you. That t-shirt that he's wearing right here, that white t-shirt, is a t-shirt that his brother had made. I think it was John Marvin had made on a fishing trip that these guys all went on. You imagine that? You go on a fishing trip and they make t-shirts? Whatever. That is not a Vinnie Vines t-shirt. That is just a t-shirt that says something about, Murdaugh Fishing Trip 2017 or whatever it was called. In fact, John Marvin went on the stand and said exactly that. So that's wrong too. And I'll tell you what, and just, 550,000 people follow her, 85,000 views on this particular video, 423 comments, almost 2,500 likes. And it is full of misinformation or wrong information. And I don't know why, it just is. And I've proven that. I'm sure there's going to be people that say, I haven't proven anything. Well, if I haven't proven anything, then neither has the state of South Carolina and the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, because that is the information that I am using and no other information. So if I'm wrong, they're wrong. He's not guilty by reasonable doubt. Give him a new trial. He deserves one. His rights were trampled upon, and he needs a new trial. And by the way, when he gets a new trial, he's going to be found not guilty, or it's going to be a hung jury. I can tell you that because they have the playbook of the state of South Carolina, and it's a bad one. And not to mention the fact there was 4 jurors that walked into that jury room. 4 jurors walked into that jury room not guilty, and they changed their mind, according to Mandy, because they just wanted to go home, and he was going to prison anyways for his financial crimes. So let's just get him found guilty and get the hell out of here. That's also a fact. That's a fact that she said that. Okay, so the 2 shooters. If you want to follow along in the book, Defending Alec Murdaugh Not Guilty by Reasonable Doubt, it is available. I wrote this book. It is available on Amazon. Go check it out. I also have another book that I wrote with jurors 785, Myra Crosby, Because Enough Was Enough. That is also on Amazon. Both really good sellers. In fact, the Defending Alec Murdaugh book was, for quite a few weeks, ranked very high in the true crime categories. And it is well reviewed. There's well over 4 stars. Hundreds of views. So go check it out. And I will tell you, I think it's chapter 24, where I talk extensively about the 2 shooters. And it's not just me talking about 2 shooters. David Owen just said there, if there's 2 shooters. Sled Agent Worley, who was on the stand, Dick Harpootlian, who cross-examined her, said there's a possibility of 2 shooters. The defense witnesses, abundance of them, said 2 shooters. And I have said that there is no way Alec Murdaugh could have done it. Why? Because I have tried to replicate what the state said he did in the time that they said he did it. And I'm not 300 plus pounds, 6'4", bad knees, high on opioids, and at night, and with trying to manage 2 guns at the same time to shoot my family. I just tried to replicate it in the time that they said it happened. And I'm using the time they said it happened based off of what? Of time it said it happened based off of the SLED and the state's prosecution timeline based off of their cell phone data. But if there was 2 shooters, they're going to be in the woods. They're going to sit there and wait. They don't want to shoot Maggie, and so they're going to sit there and wait until Paul leaves. Paul was down there, and everybody knew it who was friends with him on Snapchat, because he was down there with that dog. But we're not going to shoot Maggie, so we're going to sit here and go wait. Then Alex comes down. We're not going to wait. We're not going to shoot Alex because sometimes he just carries a gun. And these people are just all over the place. So now you come in and come out and you got to shoot everybody. So let's just wait until Paul goes into the feed room and he's not getting out. So when Alex says he comes down in the golf cart. He puts the chicken up. He talks to Maggie. Either she gets into the golf cart with him or she's walking along with him in the golf cart. They go in front of the hangar, which if you're in the woods, you can't see. On the other side of the hangar, all you can see is the dog kennels. And then from there, she goes into the hangar and then he drives away back up to the main house. Now, once he is now visible, his taillights are visible from the woods. All you're going to see is the taillights. You're not going to see who's on the vehicle. So they assume it's Maggie because she stopped talking. She wasn't on the phone. She wasn't doing anything. She was in the hangar, according to the prosecution, probably cleaning up because these guys were pigs. Then Paul's phone goes and locks, and just a few seconds later, he's in the feed room by himself. It's a perfect opportunity. You come up, and maybe you're not even trying to kill Paul. Maybe you're just coming in to just scare the hell out of him. But, Paul says the wrong thing, and he gets shot. Guy falls down. He's on.
Him.
Whoops.
Why
Hold
is
on.
that so critical,
Hold on.
Jennifer?
Hold on.
It's just another.
It's just another. And so here's what happens. Let's stop. So Paul's gotten shot. The guy falls down. He's on the sidewalk, and Maggie comes running out. He shoots Paul again, this time up in the shoulder. Up goes his head. Head pops out. Paul falls down outside the front of the feed room. Whoever is on lookout by that single doghouse out there, which is towards the house, they scream at them to shoot Maggie because now Maggie has seen them just kill her son and she has to die too. And the shots, according to Dr. Kenny Kinsey, are wild shots all over her body, with the last two coming from different angles. First one at 41 degrees from the dog kennel, the next one at 84 degrees. So somebody picked up the gun and moved to 84 degrees from the 41 and then shot her again. And then the last one shot in the head. That's how that's how two shooters did it. Then they wait 2-3 minutes to see if Alec is coming out of the house. He doesn't come out of the house. The other person goes and gets the truck, which is about a 9-minute walk, which I have done, down to Moselle Road to get their truck. And then it's a 1-minute drive back. And right at about 5:44, where am I? 8:55, 8:55:44, the orientation goes back from landscape to portrait, and that's when they get into the truck, and he calls once, not twice, but she's moving. It's not recording steps, but it's moving. Alec is walking. His is recording steps. Maggie's isn't, because hers is going down a truck down Moselle Road, and at 9:06:20, which is 36 seconds later, which I have driven myself, and from the back entrance to where her phone was is 36 seconds, almost exactly to the second. 34, 35, 36, somewhere around there. And her phone was thrown out at 9:06:20, and there it laid, and then the phone went off at 9:07. Alex is still at the house. His phone is still recording steps. His phone is still recording everything. Maggie's phone is not recording a thing. He gets in the car, drives, and he sends her a text, drives at about 42 miles an hour, sends the text, hits send, and when he hits send, what's he do? He looks back up, and then he hits the gas, and he doesn't speed up and go, flying to Alameda, as Nancy said. It was to go from 42 miles an hour to 44 miles an hour. And then the time he drove to Alameda, it took him almost 20 minutes. And I drove it. I did the same thing. It took me about 20 minutes. And I wasn't speeding. And neither was he. So I hope this explains some of this. Jesus, I just wish this misinformation would just stop. You guys got to stop listening to these people on Facebook who come up with these crazy ideas, and everybody says, oh, that's it, that's what happened. No, you got to use the evidence. And if anybody can show me any evidence that Alec did this, I'll change my mind, but that has yet to happen. So I hope you've enjoyed this. We'll try to do more. I'll try to get better at this. Follow me. I'm everywhere. TikTok is back. We got over 90,000 people on TikTok. Over 1 million plus views and likes. Like and follow us at Twitter. I'm at Crime and Cask at X. Like and follow and share here in YouTube and Facebook. And we will see you. Crime and Cask out. And if anybody can tell me why I do that,